Okay, everybody, we're looking at indexes for now, just to get a sense of where we are in this bear market. You can see, this is where the top was. We're still in the bear market. I know that people were getting pretty excited around early part of January. It just seemed almost unstoppable. People were thinking, maybe this is the beginning of the bull market starting again. But I was pretty skeptical. I just didn't really think that that was a sign that we're back to the bull market. Let's take it. Start the selling this pretty high volume, although it's not as high as some prior days. But I think sometimes volume is not necessarily the only factor. I think sometimes you can kind of sense the pattern. You can just see it doesn't look very good over there. Let's take a look at SPY. You can see this is the beginning of this bear market. It has these bear rallies, and now it looks like it's headed downward again. It'll be interesting if it goes back to the lows, at least retest it. But it's also very likely that with the Federal Reserve continuing to hit the gas in terms of rates going up, it's probably likely to continue going down. The other thing that's important is to actually look at some of the leading stocks, because some of them are just the bigger stocks. Some of them, it will kind of give you an indication of where we are. Like, this is the world's biggest stock, or used to be, Apple, and you could just see this doesn't give you the sense that we're in this kind of hyperbolic movement where it's just going straight up, and it's just pretty much at least this one's kind of holding up fairly okay. But I mean, I still wouldn't buy it at the moment. That's actually not down as much. It's kind of misleading because Google is actually not down as much as it appears on this chart. It's actually reverse split, but it's definitely a bearish pattern regardless. Then you have Netflix. That was a pretty remarkable one. It had this huge drop off from the earnings going down, but some people actually got pretty smart. They were able to figure out that this looked as though it's not breaking down any further. It's just almost straight back up. That's a very remarkable one. Let's check out Disney, because Disney is one stock where it used to have magic. It used to be one of those stocks that seemed resilient, almost as though it would just be able to do quite well regardless of the circumstance. But in this kind of market, they're firing people. They seem like they lost a lot of creativity and original ideas. Just seemed as though they don't really have what it takes to really move this back up. The theme park alone is not going to be enough to bring things back. But as you can see, so I've known people who own this kind of stock, and you can see it's really struggling here at the 200-day line. Some stocks that are kind of generic or connected with the broader market, you can kind of see the sense of the general economy from looking at Berkshire. You can see in a good market like 2020, even though this is not, I wouldn't call this a leading stock or anything like that, but it definitely doesn't look like it wants to continue trending higher. It's definitely been struggling. Let's take a look at United Airlines. As you can see, this has never been really a stock that I would normally look at, but it kind of gives you a sense of the general economy. There's the pandemic crash. It's just kind of sliding downwards, and it looks as though it's holding okay right there. Let's see how oh yeah, Delta. Let's check out Delta Airlines. That's pretty much the same thing. How about oh yeah, United Health Group. This is an interesting one. I actually have not looked at this for quite some time, but you can see the COVID crash right there, and healthcare is starting maybe looks like it's rolling over a little bit or looking a little bit weak, but it's holding off fairly okay. How is Microsoft doing as a big tech stock? That's definitely in a very bearish pattern. This is the beginning of the bear market. It's been going down. No capitulation or anything like that. Definitely is remaining below the 200-day line, as you can see right there. A terrible one that we should check out is Snap as an example of absolutely terrible stock. Just looks like a what some would call a horror show. This doesn't look like it's capable of staying up. And how about TCF? The only reason I bring up this stock is there's a YouTuber. His channel is called Financial Education. He actually told people to buy this piece of crap stock and hasn't gone up at all. This is almost looks like this is a double top right there, and as you can see, it's almost like a perfect sign of weakness. Like people are just getting out of the stock. And let's check out another crappy stock that the same YouTuber recommended. Honest Company, yeah, another. This looks like a terrible pattern there. How about AT&T? A lot of dividend people like this one for some reason. It's definitely doesn't look like it. Just looks like a big mess. I mean, I don't see a reason to own something like this. There just is no. Doesn't seem like this is how you make money. When people say, "Oh, I need passive income," I buy AT&T for the dividend. Well, it doesn't look like that's paying you anything. Some people buy Altria for the same reason, dividends. Ironically, it looks a little stronger, but it's really not making you that much money. It's just paying you a dividend out of it. Now, a strategy that a lot of people would use, and I would use actually, is in a good market. This is one that would be interesting, but we first would actually need to see that there's a substantial sell-off first. Because if you think about it, there's a huge volume here right at the bottom. You could see this, and over here is extremely high volume. People are just getting out of it because they're extremely scared. If you see it, there are a few times where it has quite high volume, but I think that move will actually be coming up at some point. We could probably look at, even though it's not perfect, you can kind of see that GBTC is a way for people to buy Bitcoin on the exchanges, and you can see that's still in it's a very bearish pattern. This was the double top, and it's staying below the 200-day line, which is a pretty good sign that we're in a very bearish season here. If they were able to remain ahead above it, that's when you know you're in a pretty good environment, because as you can see, it's pretty much respected that and has stayed below the 200-day line the whole time. Let's check out ETHC, and all right, yeah, same exact pattern. It has stayed below the 200-day line, and it does not look like one you would want to buy. It's just okay. One of the great stocks that I used to look at quite often is Visa. You can see that's an interesting one. It's pulling off fairly well, though. I get the sense that it may not be able to exceed this high point for quite some time. The Meta had this huge move up, incredible move up, almost like a speculative move on the metaverse, and cost cutting Zuckerberg is doing, but it's starting to look a little bit weak there. It really has strong resistance here, and it may start to accelerate to the downside from